Here's more wrestling news for September 12th, 2021. And your headlines for this afternoon include Tony Khan jokes about NXT kicking pro wrestling media out of television tapings, Mick Foley criticizes WWE lack of continuity, is WWE planning triple threat match for WWE Crown Jewel, is Paul Heyman turning on Roman Reigns, Vince McMahon makes a return on screen for a special reason, ad for NXT 2.0 gets massive boos from SmackDown crowd at Madison Square Garden, WWE has their eye on NXT superstar to be special, MJF reacts with several WWE superstars after WWE SmackDown, and more. We are kicking off today with AEW, who hosted their Dark and Elevation tapings this week from Universal Studios. One name who was at the taping was F4W Online's JJ Williams, who was kicked out of a set of NXT tapings in July, and announced that he'd no longer spend his time devoted to WWE. On Twitter, Williams shared an image of Tony Khan from the tapings, saying that Khan joked with the crowd, asking them where Williams was sitting so he could break his phone and kick him out of the building. Khan was obviously kidding with his little dig at WWE's policy, and from all accounts, JJ had a much more relaxed time at the Dark and Elevation tapings, not having to worry about being singled out by security, unlike his last time covering NXT. Earlier this week, Mick Foley got in trouble with WWE for a video where he openly discussed some of the company's flaws, saying they've got a problem with AEW. In this video, Foley is apparently breaking an unwritten rule that legends don't disparage the company, but the Hall of Famer isn't backing down in his request for a better product. Speaking on Sean Waltman's podcast, Foley doubled down on the issues he was having with WWE, saying, "My son is a part of the writing team. I would never be able to handle being on a writing team. I take a lot of pride in things I write, and to see somebody rip it up in front of you, it would kind of send me heading for the exits. But you lose your continuity." WWE's lack of continuity is well documented, as feuds often end out of nowhere, and matches promised for a show often don't take place. In particular, Foley has been critical of WWE's treatment of Keith Lee and Karrion Kross, and although the hardcore legend may be in hot water, he believes it's worth it if he can improve WWE's product. Extreme Rules next, as later this month, Finn Balor will look to do something no man has done before: dethrone Roman Reigns as Universal Champion. Like Reigns in 2018, Balor knows what it's like to be forced to vacate the Universal title, and according to reports, WWE aren't yet sure what the plan is. One idea suggested by Creative is that the match could be cut short by the interference of Brock Lesnar, who has made it clear he wants a shot at Reigns with the title on the line. This would see Lesnar interfere when Balor is close to winning, causing the big dog to retain via DQ, meaning the Tribal Chief keeps the gold. This would set up a triple threat for the title at Crown Jewel, which would see the Tribal Chief, the Demon, and the Beast Incarnate headline in Saudi Arabia. Another idea suggested is that Reigns could actually lose the title at Extreme Rules, especially if the Demon is able to dispatch of the Usos. This story would see the Usos be either dispatched of or sent to the back, leaving Paul Heyman to get involved, only to accidentally cost Reigns the Universal title. Firing Heyman and possibly attacking his ex-special counsel would be what brings Lesnar back to TV, setting up Lesnar vs. Reigns at Crown Jewel in non-title action. WWE is already planning these two possible scenarios, but we'll just have to tune in to Extreme Rules on September 28th to see what the future holds for Reigns, Balor, Lesnar, Heyman, and the Universal title. In 2015, WWE brought back Tough Enough, which featured Chelsea Green 3 years before she'd signed with the company. Speaking on her podcast, the former WWE superstar spoke about her experience on the show and how she got in trouble with producers because of an interaction she had with Gigi Pacina and Mandy Rose. They were stressing about, are we going to be voted off of Tough Enough and this and that? I said to them, guys, this reality TV show is so fake and so planned, trust me, they've already decided on who's winning. Green added that the microphones were on at all times, even when she went to the bathroom, and it was only after a week and a half that the contestants were given their mobile phones back. As you'd expect, the reality show wasn't entirely real, as Green explained how the producers wanted her to have a romantic angle as part of the competition, saying, "I actually had to kiss somebody on camera that producers chose who that would be, and they forced that on me, and that was really awkward and really uncomfortable. Me and the guy both hated it. It was not at all cute." Green didn't win Tough Enough, but had a much better time in WWE than the winners Josh Brettel and Sarah Lee, and now the former superstar is happy forging her own path in wrestling without having to kiss anyone she doesn't want to. Earlier this week, WWE confirmed the signing of Gable Steveson to a special contract, one that'll allow him to continue competing at a collegiate level while also training as a WWE superstar. As the company's second-ever Olympic gold medalist, Steveson is one of the biggest names to sign with the company in recent years, but he won't be keeping that name for long. In WWE's announcement, the Olympian is called Gable Dan Steveson, which is his real name, but there may be a big reason why WWE is using his middle name. As the Wrestling Observer newsletter reports, Steveson was introduced using the name Gable Dan Steveson, which is his real name, but as a college wrestler and athlete, his middle name was never focused on. It would appear that WWE felt the name, referring to 1972 gold medalist Dan Gable, would be part of his billing. Chris Betts, who competed in the Olympics as a Greco-Roman wrestler, currently on the roster is Chad Gable, with his wrestling name also from Dan Gable. It's also reported that Vince McMahon will appear on TV to formally introduce Steveson to the WWE Universe, as the chairman has high hopes for the Olympic gold medalist. Whatever name the WWE uses for Steveson, he'll have a lot of eyes when he eventually debuts as a superstar, but that may not come as Gable Steveson. Next week, WWE's rebrand of NXT will go live, but the reception so far has been far from hospitable. It wasn't long after the new colorful logo was revealed that the hashtag RIPNXT trended on Twitter, as fans haven't been fond of the changes that have been reported so far. That hostility continued this past Friday, as during the Super SmackDown in Madison Square Garden, an ad for NXT 2.0 was aired and earned a chorus of boos from the crowd in New York. The gold brand was for years seen as the best part of WWE, but that may change now that Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon are running the show, and hopefully next week's relaunch can impress fans after such a hostile reaction so far. Over to SmackDown, which wasn't a good night for Sami Zayn, who lost in 10-man tag action inside Madison Square Garden, and his days with WWE are numbered. In the Wrestling Observer newsletter, it was noted that Zayn's current contract with WWE ends later this year, as he was one of the many superstars who had their contracts restructured in 2019. Kevin Owens is one of the superstars to have their deal restructured, as his contract, which was meant to end in 2023, will now expire on January 31st, 2022. As two of the most beloved indie stars before joining WWE, we can't help but think that Tony Khan will make a bid to sign both men. And as for Zayn, a decision about his future will have to be made very soon. More from NXT next, as in recent months, the Diamond Mine has been dominating the gold brand, and one member in particular has caught the company's attention. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that Julius Creed has a lot of buzz around him in WWE, and that he's considered to be very special in the eyes of people who are exactly the people you want on your side, and that he's earned a reputation as a hard worker and a quick learner. We'll have to keep our eyes on what Creed does next, but it's expected that he'll be the breakout star of the Diamond Mine, and with the brand about to change in a big way, it seems Julius Creed will be a big part of the show's direction going forward. And we're ending today with MJF, who sparked a friendship with WWE's Happy Corbin, but he's not the only superstar the AEW heel has interacted with. In a tweet where he insulted New Jersey, Liv Morgan responded to MJF, saying that her home state is lovely. Friedman said he'd agree with Morgan, but then they'd both be wrong, as MJF doesn't plan on visiting the state which hosted the very first baseball game anytime soon. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.